Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I am the Peace Fire Witch, and on this channel I review tarot cards, oracle cards, and other witchy things. And usually I do these recordings in the evening after my kids have gone to bed. However, I decided to do this one during the day and they're in the room right over there playing. So if you hear some noise in the background, I do apologize, but kids being kids and being cute. And I wanted to get this review out because I've actually been sitting on this deck for a couple of weeks and I really want to start digging into it. So today we're going to do a review of the Wooden Tarot. Again, this is a 79 card tarot deck, which means there's going to be one extra card that is not in the typical tarot deck. It is created by Andrew Liam Swartz, and it is his website is skullgarden.net. I actually picked this up on his Etsy page. So if you go to Skull Garden on Etsy, you will find this as well as purchasing it on his website. So it is the Wooden Tarot. The Wooden Tarot is an innovative and unusual deck. This full 79 card deck casts bones, stones, blooms, and flumes as the suit of the minor arcana and represents the human archetypes of the major arcana as, and this is my favorite part, surreal and slightly macabre fantasy wildlife. So surreal and slightly macabre. So yeah, and there's the Fool. I'm gonna talk about that card in a minute. So I'm not a big fan of animal decks. I've said that before, and I keep saying that, and yet I keep being drawn to these really cool animal decks. These are again the changes in the minor arcana, so they're bones, stones, plumes, and blooms. So I'll take a deeper look into that. I do want to quickly note that this is a seconds quality purchase. So Avani at Hedgecraft Heirlooms that I did the review for a couple of weeks ago actually does a live tarot card draw at the end of her live videos. And she usually uses this particular deck. And I've mentioned before how I have purchased decks in the past based solely on the Fool card. And this is actually one of them. And it's right here, so I can just show you. I was on one of her Instagram lives and asked for a card, and this is the card she actually drew for me. And you know how much I love the Fool card, and this one just, I don't know, something about this one, it looks so sweet and innocent, and then you realize the mouse is basically walking into the mouth of the snake. I was like, I kind of want that deck. I'm not a big fan of animal decks, but why not? Then later that day, I actually went and looked on the website and saw that he had the seconds quality box, like the box that had gotten damaged, for a discount, and for a discount. And Avani had actually noticed it too, and she sent me a message on Facebook and said, you should go check it out, because actually I think she made a post, but I decided that day to pick it up so that I could review it for you and have some fun with this really unique deck. So the first thing we're going to see is there is no guidebook, and it is a tuck box. I do prefer, of course, two-piece boxes or just something a little better quality than a tuck box, which means I will probably end up just keeping this deck inside of a pouch, because I hate tuck boxes enough that I pretty much just get rid. In fact, I think I have in fact gotten rid of every single tuck box I have. So here's the back of the cards. We have pretty much the triple moon, and then it has an eye in the middle of the moon. So this is a blind flip through, other than the Fool card and a couple of others I have seen during Avani's live shows. I have not seen any of these cards, so come join me for this fun ride. Well, first of all, let's talk about, I always forget this part, pretty average card stock, I would say. It's not too thick, it's not too thin. It's smaller in size. Well, actually, it's pretty much the same. It's a little tiny bit shorter, but not significantly. A tiny, tiny inkling, like barely noticeable wider. It's a little bit shorter, but it's not that much. So it's a pretty standard tarot size, I think. And again, it's not the thickest cardstock in the world. I don't think it's the thinnest. There is no gilding. You know how much I love my gilding. So I might customize this one later, depending on how connected I get to the deck. All right, let's start the flip through and we'll just take a look at this together. So here we have the Fool card. Again, all the basic elements are there. It's the Fool starting the journey. In this case, it's a little more danger filled. I think normal Fool cards feel less dangerous, and that one to me feels like it's full of danger. Magician is a moth. The High Priestess. Ooh, Empress. I wonder if the Emperor is going to be an elephant too. Yes, it is. So pretty well done. The backgrounds, if you look there, look a lot like wood grain. And each one is a little bit different, which I find interesting. I was kind of expecting all of the wood grain to be the same background, and they're just inserting a different image on top of the same wood grain background. But that's not what happened. It looks like he is actually using a variety of different wood grains, which is nice because it makes each card feel unique as opposed to just a repeat of the last one with just a different image slapped on it. Justice. Ooh, the Hanged Man is a bat. Look at how cute he is. Death. This is, of course, what's on the cover. And, you know, he's got the mouse right there dangling out of his mouth. I have a dog. He's really desperate to get in here now. He's starting to scratch at the door. Hold on. I'm going to take one quick break and go let my dog in so he stops being annoying. So I just went to go let my dog in, and when I opened the door, she just looked at me and was like, I don't really want in. I'm just being whiny. So anyway, back to the cards. We have the Tower. I always tend to stop here. I think it's where the tower falls, usually in a nice gap between the narrative to point it out. A very interesting tower, though. And it's got, you know, again, the elements coming down, the lightning bolts. It's just a little different of an interpretation on it. We have the moon, the sun. Interesting. I don't know why I didn't notice it at first. I believe this is a fox. I completely missed that he didn't have a head. In fact, this last couple haven't had heads. Interesting. Look at that. So it is an animal deck, but interestingly, not all of the cards have animals. So it's not a complete animal deck. It has other elements to it too. So if you're very opposed to animal decks, okay. So that's something to consider. Now we're into the minor arcana, and we have the God of Blooms, which I'm assuming is the ace, because this is the Two of Blooms, and I'm unsure actually what. I'm guessing these are the cups. I'm really not sure. So this is a Pip deck. You know, we're getting very Pippish at this point. We have the name of the family that it's in, and then the number up here. So the cards do say what they are, so you don't have to interpret them. However, without a guidebook, this is kind of an interesting, it's going to be a deck you're going to have to be really familiar with what it all means. So now let's see, so there's the 10. Oh, I actually really like the 10. Then the King, then the Queen, then the Knight, and then the Page. So yeah, the God of Blooms is the ace, or the God of whatever. So yeah, I think it's going to be a very intuitive deck just because there's not really anything guiding you. If I had to guess with bones, maybe, well, oh gosh. See, I'm trying to think of which one would represent, you know, the minor arcana represents the elements, so earth, air, water, and fire. But both blooms and bones are very earthy to me. The reason I thought blooms might be cups is because it requires, you know, water for things to bloom. Bones, I don't know. I'll have to look it up. Maybe on the website it gives you more information. Again, this was just me purchasing it because I saw that the Fool card that Avani did during her live and thought it was really cool, and I wanted the deck solely for the Fool card. So I get all these other cards for that one card. And, you know, oh, okay, Plumes, these have wings, these are air. So that one's a bit more of a gimme to me, that it coincides with the swords. Kind of. I mean, that definitely tells me right here that it's the swords. But this one is an interesting take on the same idea. I wouldn't pick this one necessarily out, I guess, because it's a bird. But yeah, it's a bit different. It's a different deck. And I'm not saying I don't like it. I actually kind of enjoy it. It's an interesting one if you want to get really into intuitive reading, because it doesn't give you a lot of guidance. Are those eyes? Interesting. I do love my crows, so it's fun to see a crow in the deck. Okay. And now we are going to go on to the last one. Okay, so we have fire around the stones. So that's a bit more. Now I'm kind of like putting it all together. I'm still not sure about the bones and the blooms. I'm guessing the blooms are cups and the bones then are the wands. No, these are the wands. I don't know. Ignore me. Are the bones pentacles? Okay, I gotta look this up. I do apologize that I mostly just try to see what the average person would see when they go to open up a deck, to just see like, oh, I bought this. It was really cute. I saw it in a store. You know, like what an average person would experience when they buy a deck just in a store or something. Maybe they don't have the opportunity to research ahead of time, and this is what they get. So I do apologize I didn't figure it out sooner, but you know, I would have known if I had just bought it blindly, which is kind of what I did. So that's just one thing to consider, is it is going to take a little bit of research on my part, or maybe just using intuitive reading without really knowing the full meaning of everything, but going based off of what it, like, I don't know. King of Stones, the Queen of Stones, the Knight of Stones. It's like a unicorn with a, and this one definitely has the fire in it, but if I didn't remember that some of the cards have fire in it, not all of them do. I guess there's a little bit of smoke in the background of this one, but oh, there's the extra card. It's the happy squirrel. I wonder if Papa Squirrel has seen this one, because that's kind of hilarious. I love it. It's like the cutest card too. Some of them got kind of dark, and this one just brings it back to kind of this happy lightness almost. So yeah, anyway, if you are getting this deck and you're unsure, I'm sure you can look it up. I'm sure the website has a lot more information. In fact, I'm going to go look at that after I'm done recording here, just to see. And again, there's different shades of the wood grain background. It's not all the same. This is a borderless deck. It has no border or frame around it, which I love. So, you know, it hits quite a couple of boxes there. It's a fun deck. It's a different deck. It is kind of a dark deck at times, but it does have a lot of cute variety to it. I just love, I think the happy squirrel, I keep saying cute and happy because I ended here, but the whole deck itself isn't really that way. It's a lot darker, except for this one. I like this one. You know, it's different. It's definitely a different deck from anything else I have. I can see myself using this when I just want, you know, a change of scenery from my typical, you know, collage style decks. And it could be a lot of fun. I'm going to definitely do a deck interview and see how I feel about this deck. Let's take a moment to try to shuffle it. I can't imagine this is going to be much different than shuffling a regular deck of cards, other than you have a few more, but they're very bendy. Yeah, okay, not the greatest shuffle in the world, but they shuffle just fine. And so if you're, or what is that, riffle shuffler, then you are going to have no problems with this deck. There is no indication of which way is upside down or right side up, but I also don't know, because, you know, there's no guidebook. There's also, it's interesting, I'm assuming maybe there's an online guidebook or something extra, but it doesn't mention that anywhere. So I'm really not sure if you know, there is a guidebook. I will take a look. I'll mention in the show notes if there is. I'm not going to re-record a whole different section for that. But a very, you know, it's a glossy. It definitely feels like a playing card. So it's not shiny, or it's not glossy, but it's a little bit shiny. It's not matte. It's just, you know, it's a playing card feel to it. And again, if you spread it out, you can tell that it's beautifully borderless, which I just love. Like, I love doing this with decks. So you can order this again online on his website. Go to Andrew's website, skullgarden.net, or again, I found the seconds quality one on Etsy. I don't know if it still exists, but as far as I can tell, the only damage was to the box. All of the cards seem to be doing okay. And so for a box that I was just going to throw out anyway, it made sense to me to buy the seconds quality one because I saved a little bit of money. So I don't know if that deal is still there, but if it is, you can go to the Etsy page and find that and get yourself a nice discounted wooden tarot deck. So thank you for joining me on yet another tarot review. You can find me over on Instagram at thepeacefire_witch. And don't forget to subscribe, maybe leave a thumbs up and a comment if this was something you enjoyed seeing and you want to see more of it. I actually have a lot of decks kind of sitting around right now waiting to get recorded. So as long as my kids stay quiet, I will bring you a couple more very soon. Bye.